Hey guys, how you doing? How's everybody? How's everything doing for you guys? Great, excellent job. I'm glad you're having fun. Excellent. Okie dokie. Wonderful. All right, let's get into another one of our miniature games to take a look and have some fun. This is Semifinals Championship of the Russian Republic, 1957. So we're going to get to see what we have here. All right. So we're doing good. Okay. The first move is the players are Rub Ashi Urban Chick. I'm sorry about the pronunciation of that name. This one looks a little better. Kanyan. Kanyan. I think that's it. Something like that. Some of these guys' names are a little hard to pronounce. So I did my best. Let's do it to it. Okay, we have King, our E4. And now we are going to play the Sicilian defense. The Sicilian defense is always fun. Now we got Knight comes to F3. And then we have Pawn, D6. And then we break out in the center with D4. Boom. Pawn takes pawn. Knight takes pawn. And then knight to king, knight f6. And then white's knight develops to c3. And then the pawn from the king side gets ready for a fianchetto. It goes to g6 with the idea of bishop to g7. Now white plays bishop e3. There could be potential ideas of queen d2, like queen d2, and if the bishop fianchettos, bishop here, castles, bishop takes, king takes. And now you got rid of one of the defenders around the king, so that allows for white to have somewhat of initiative with h4 and h5. Now we have bishop that goes to g7, pawn c3, or f3 I mean, castles, queen d2 with the idea, remember, there. This idea also is, for one thing, so that just in case white wanted to reroute their knight maybe into something like that, or maybe here and maybe something like this, and there maybe are coming here and then taking, of course after bishop and takes, coming here and then taking, that type of a setup. So the other knight comes out and challenges this knight. This knight challenges this knight. And then now you have the bishop coming to c4. This pins the pawn to the king, which allows the ability for potentially maybe some kingside thrust. White might even castle queenside and just try to go for a kingside onslaught, because black doesn't really have anything. So, like after castles, white could always safety their king to b1, and then they can get something going on the king side. So always remember that sometimes, if it's possible and it looks like it's safe enough, go for the castles on the queen side. So, or if he castles queen side, king side, and try to cause a little bit of havoc, make your opponent work for his ability to keep going. Knight to where? A5. He's trying to remove this bishop here. And the bishop, surprisingly, actually retreats back. Is it worth giving up the bishop for the knight? So you have to think about it. Is it worth actually the bishop going back to d3? One sec, let me get a sip of water, and then we'll get started again. Good water. Oops. So I don't know. I don't know if I like the idea of retreating here. I don't know if I like that idea. I really don't. You're buying into Black's plan. See, Black has a really offside knight, so if you bring your bishop d3 or d3 or e2 would make the knight look a little funny. I think the idea is to play queen to b6 here. So I think that's why he played b3. So in case the knight takes a takes b3 here, and this queen move looks nothing more than a silly move. But I still think you could have, after this move here, I still think if queen here, this is kind of still a little silly because of here, and this knight just looks funny. And this queen has to come back, you know. So I don't, no, I don't, I kind of agree with b3, but yeah, we'll see what happens. Uh, Bishop d7, so white's not in, I mean, black's not in any hurry of grabbing the bishop because the bishop really doesn't have any squares to go to. Everything is covered. So black got to develop his bishop. Also, black's going to eventually take the bishop and then maybe play d5 here. Lock down the center and maybe try to do a minority attack on the king side. You always have to be on guard of what your opponent's idea is. Okay, so it's white to move. Okay, bishop to h6. This was the idea that we were talking about. And bishop takes, queen takes, and maybe you can get a setup where after takes, actually I need to do that. The red line takes, and then after takes here, you might be able to castle and then go h4, h5, something like that maybe. And then if the pawn takes, rook takes, knight takes, queen takes, and then this rook slides over with an attack on h7. You never know what could arise. If your opponent goes passive, that's an ability that you could be able to do. Okay, rook to b1. Now, you have to start looking how Maurice Ashley, Andrew Martin, International Master Andrew Martin, Grandmaster Maurice Ashley, Yazzer, all the greats don't look at this piece being here. They don't look at this piece being here. They see that this pawn right here is actually vulnerable. So they'll have an idea based on, first of all, controlling the half open file. So that's one. Potentially later on, after trading enough material off, they might even be able to go for c2 and win the pawn. So you have to look beyond the piece. That's why when like a rook is on the same file, even though a pawn's in front of the queen, you'll see grandmasters and international masters move their queen off that diagonal because they don't want to give any chance of any tricks like knights to land on protective squares where the pawn would love to take, but because the queen and the rook are on the same diagonal, our file, sorry, rank of the file, they would have to not be able to take it. So it'd be that'd be not fun. Okay, now that we've got that under wraps, so we are going for the, as I like to say, knock knock or knockout. He wants to go for the kaboom right away and pry open the king side with h5. Very, very interesting. Um, let's see, knight. Ah, so this is the idea. Plopping the knight in here, but I don't. That kind of makes the position look a little bit. The bishop could take, and the rook. See, bishop takes here, rook takes back, and rook attacks the knight. But then after, maybe I think yeah, takes, rook takes, bishop takes, king takes. I don't know if there's anything. Maybe h5 here. Then if takes, rook takes, knight takes rook, and then queen comes in with the idea of a check. The king comes back, and then you pick up the knight. Maybe that's the idea there that white's going to be playing. Let's see if they do that. That is kind of a tricky idea. Okay, so bishop takes knight, first move. Wham. Rook takes bishop. Let's see if they do our combination. Bishop takes bishop. Hey, they're doing it without, and we didn't even look at it. Takes. Oh, wow. 100%. Great job if you followed along and you saw that. Wonderful job. He's trying to basically just obliterate the king. And this pawn just pushes. Of course, you see what happens if takes, takes, knight takes, queen comes in check, king comes back, and white then wins a pawn with a humongous setup. But I think rook takes here, and I don't know. I don't know. Which king is safer? Probably at this point, I'd probably bring my king up. The bishop can't come here, so maybe queen first. A rook slides over, then bishop, but then knight takes here. I don't know. Maybe king there, and there's too much threat. Oh. He can't take because of. I gotta get rid of this. Delete that line right there. So the queen actually can't. That would just outright win a bishop. So the queen that they're really. I don't know if there's anything that black can actually do. Let me see. Maybe he could try rook over, but then that pawn drops. Hmm. Trying to see if there's really anything. If white can't get something going, he's actually completely losing with from the loss of material. So it's interesting to say the least. I'm not sure if it's completely winning, but I think it gives black some potential for an attack. I mean white. So now pawn push. He goes of course g5, and then what we'll do is we'll close this. We'll close these lines here so that they're not in our way. I like how they have that arrow to close it so it doesn't get in the way. Oh, wait a second. This was actually... We'll promote. How do you promote? Promote. Delete. Now E5 was played, not G5. Then you have king, knight. This knight comes here. I don't know. I think I'd be tempted to have played this move here. Oh, wait a second. Not again. I gotta delete this here. It's this move because the knight would be hanging. That's right. Promote. That'd be the line there. Yep. Okay, dokie. Try to see now. We're at 16. Knight takes rook pawn, and then here comes the pawnerific with the idea of this checking here. Knight here, and then in comes the queenerific as well. King back, and then h4. This, I think, is winning a knight. I think completely winning a knight here. Knight has to go to h4 here, and I'm thinking maybe knight g3 is a good idea. Let me see. Oh, rook takes knight. Boom. Okay. Kapow. So now knight to. So okay. So first there was a sack. So this sack here gets an exclam, and then of course taking, and then knight g5. Whoa, nice. I didn't really see that. I was looking at this other line here, where knight this way, but this actually loses because of bishop takes. Yeah, so this actually is the best continuation. We'll close this up here with that idea of a checkmate, basically. Pawn b4. The idea of checking, I guess. Let me see, pawn b4. I think the idea is if playing here, the rook is okay to give back its life, and then the queen could come over, and I don't think there would be really anything much. Maybe a check here, takes, maybe takes there, here, and maybe queen, and pawn takes, bishop takes, takes, and I think it's equal. I don't see anything. I don't see anything. So here, and so what they're doing is they're gonna play. Got to promote this line. G6 is the idea here. I think it's I think the reason they're doing G6, they're trying to threaten mate here, and I don't think there's any way to stop that. Pawn takes pawn. Queen takes pawn, check. King rook h. Now castle queenside, and this forces resignation because I think even if they play bishop here, there's check. Here comes rook check. It comes up. Rook check. Oops, not there. Sorry, that's the wrong check. I need to delete that. Delete. This check here. King. That's mate. Okay, that's checkmate. Okay. And so castles and that's resignable. I don't see anything. We take pawn check, king there, and then castles. I think that's game match. That's it's over. That move wins on the spot. So we'll take a quick break here, then we'll come back and grab us another game. We'll pull up another board because that was a great board. Let's pull up another board, but we are going to do our war game for about 5 to 7 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes, and then we'll come back. Excellent. So now what we're doing right at this present moment, with this gentleman here on this side, Ta Quan, attacked our city of Exa Ping, and so now we're gonna counter strike, and we have 4 places, and so we're gonna. I think let's see. Did we do a? Yep, we did. Let's see if we can't give. Let's see if there's any way that we can reward our guys. I think we're good so far. Let's see if we can't do a little. Nothing there. Let's see here. Let's do some trade. There we go. Beautiful. Trying to get a little bit more benefit for our troops. Here we go. We're sending troops over. Now we're going to be attacking. Just go, go, go. Let's have everybody search. Why not? We'll see if there's anything that we can get from this here. Okay, let's do it. Good. Yes. Okay. Perfect. We have some more guys that are listed into our team. 300 gold, 200, 100. Let's see. Money, money, money. Yes. There we go. Money, money, money. We'll do some trade. And some farming. Do some more trade as well. There we go. I'm going to try to take the land from these guys here. We almost got this thing defeated and then it's ours. Let's see if we can. Nah, we're good. Let's get some more trade. And we'll do some trade over here. This city should fall, and then we'll hire all the people here. There we go. The city falls, and it's ours. He's been annihilated. We'll set the clock for 5 minutes, and then we'll get back to another one of our games. 200 gold, 200, 100 gold. There we go. Let's give these guys some reward for switching sides. Let's do some trade. Do some farming. Let's do some trade over here. Sweet. Let's do some more trade. go. There we go. Now we got all the farming done. I'm going to save this. There we go. Okay. Let's do this. They'll reward them. And then what we'll do is we'll search here too. Okay, we'll save right here and start into our second one. Excellent. Okie dokie. Let's do it to it. Okay, now we're in number 7. Let me get a sip here. Again, this is the semifinals team championship of the Russian Republic. Moldova, 1956. And the player, white is Veliva, and black is Stefahanvo. A little bit better. I'm pronouncing it there. Probably not the Russian, how the Russians pronounce it, but getting there. There we go. So e4, e6, and boom. He's trying to take the entire center. This is a French defense, so it's a blessing every once in a while to get one of our favorite openings, a French defense. And so let's do something. Since it's the French defense, we'll flip the board and look at it from black side of the board, which is nice. And so, oops, this is actually the start of the French defense. And there's many different lines that happen after this. There's like the exchange variation. Let's see what they play. Okay, knight to queen here. Okay, this is one of the variations. There's the exchange variation. Let me see here. I think this is the Steinitz variation. There's the advanced variation. There's the classical variation. And then that line there. There's the winnower. Actually, let me see here. There's the winnower with this move here. Takes, takes, takes. And then c5. Basically, the knight would blast out like this. Takes, take. Actually, I don't know if you would take. Some players have actually locked down, like, if f4 was it played here, and you played bishop to d3, there's this move here that causes the bishop to have to come back, and then you develop a knight. And then you develop a bishop, you develop a knight, you develop a knight, and then what your whole idea is to try to go after this weak pawn, and you might even play queen out to a5 here. So that's one of the lines. So we'll close this up here. But he played the Steinitz variation, knight f3, which is not really played as much as the advanced, the exchange variation, the Winnier, the classic. This is kind of a sideline. It's white's telling black, I don't want to do really anything too scary, and surprisingly, you would think that that would win a pawn, right? I think. Oh, did I do the wrong knight? I think I did the wrong knight. My apologies there. It was the let's promote. We'll delete this one here. C3. So he is going down the Winnier. Let's see what black plays here. So he did go down the classical line. Bishop here. Bishop. Wow, he's going down the full classical line. He's doing the Makut variation. This is the Alekhine Makut variation. It was developed by Alekhine and I think Dr. Alekhine, and then I'm not sure if Makut was a doctor or not. But one of the ideas is this has to get promoted. Promote. And we'll close this. This idea is you're giving up a pawn for a humongous amount of development. So want to make sure I have this correct. Here. Okay, 5. There. Okay, it's good. This is one of the lines that you can go down. There's another line that's very risky here with a setup like this. Your black's getting tremendously attacked. Bishop comes out here. Basically, I think queen comes out here, coming in, and all white's pieces are developed where black is behind a development. So that's the reason they played f6. F6 also is one of the lines that, excuse me, right there. Sometimes the thing makes my hair itch because it pulls it back. But this is actually one of the ideas, anyways, for black. Like if pawn takes, knight takes, and the next idea is to blast the center over with open with c5. So black's actually getting their idea in where white wasted a move with h4. This I'll have to keep this in my pocket for an idea. I didn't think about it. We'll have to see who wins. If black wins this one, this might be a line that you might even want to keep in your magic bag, as I like to say, of tricks to set up on your opponent when they think you're going to be going down the Makut variation, and then they get surprised with f6. They might go, I don't wasn't prepared for that. How does that fit in the Makut Alekai variation? And they get all Twitter pated, and then they play an inferior move, and then you start getting the initiative, and you start pounding, 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 and eventually they explode from all of your energy being funneled right into them. Okay, so oh, so queen checks. So now we know what black's going to play. Actually, white's going to play. And so they're saying that this is actually a strong move. So maybe this pawn move wasn't actually the most concrete idea. And then this is played here, attacking the queen. Pawn takes pawn. Knight pawn takes pawn. Uh, uh, Just want to make sure I got all these pawn moves right. Yep, pawn takes. Oh, knight takes pawn. Hmm. Knight takes pawn. Interesting. Oh, I wonder why he didn't. Let's see. Rook pawn. Four. Just give me a second. I'm just taking a quick look here. Pawn takes pawn. Knight takes pawn. Huh. I wonder why. I think even taking here. Okay. So it still loses a. It's still a good move for. Okay, because it traps. Gotcha. Now I understand why they took here. Because it would trap the queen. So, it's an interesting continuation for sure, isn't it? Yeah. Now the queen comes back, and we gotta turn off the engine so that we can play this out to ourselves. Black actually plays b4, which isn't the engine's first response. But see, remember, you gotta look at it from human kind of moves. This is part of the human strategy. Excuse me. Um, our idea, Black's main idea, was to annihilate the center. And I've played a game like this before with my against an opponent, and I basically nuked the center. I took out all the pawns as black, got my bishops to their optimum positioning of either here or here. It was just so beautiful, and the king was castle queenside or kingside actually, and I was able to just totally pummel my opponent and over the board into submission. He's a really good player, so I don't want to diss my opponent, but he did really good. And so the whole thing is, you have to be careful as white if you allow your center in the French defense to get blown open, because then black has these two massive central pawns, and they'll build an attack based around them, and you'll end up getting squeezed and basically obliterated from all the pressure that the bishops and the knights put on you. So your whole goal in the French defense as white is to lock these two this center down here, and if you can, then your idea is to play around these pawns and squeeze your opponent like a boa constrictor into submission. Where black's idea is to blast the center open and then obliterate their opponent. So you have two type of ideas going. Black actually has the ability of also suffocating their opponent too, but it has to be played exactly right, and the white player has to play very, very wrong for that to happen. And sometimes they underestimate the French defense when they think it's an inferior opening, where it's won a lot of majority of games, and it's drawn a lot of games that have basically went and caused people to win tournaments. So just keep that in your forefront when you're thinking about an opening for black. Look at the French defense and just have a little fun with it. Practice it. It's a solid opening. You can get out of the middle game, get in the middle game with an okay position and not too hyper of a position that you might lose. Okay, we'll get back into our pawn, our playing now, because enough of that, because you have to always have, like my grandmaster teacher said, chess is not just moving of the board, not just moving of the board, it's the moving of the mind. So you have to always have the right mind when you go into chess. What's your goal? Of course, you're like, to win, yeah, but you have to have the winning mindset. So just keep that in your forefront as well. Okay, now that we're at 9, he played black wants to blow up in the center now, so let's see what white plays. White takes, and white really doesn't have any other choice but to secede the center at that point. So now the after taking here, the knight comes to rook. It comes to a6 here. White wants to keep black wants to keep the idea open of keeping his knight on a really optimized position. He also wants to attack the pawn and maybe get the pawn into attack the pawn with the knight, get the knight into e4. That's one of the ideas. And so white castle queen side, black castle king side. Ay ay ay. Black's like, you gotta love black. He's got a lot of courage and hope and faith and understanding, and hopefully he can endure this type of pounding that white's probably gonna just smack him with. There is one thing though that black does have an advantage in: piece development. He has 4 pieces. Actually, if you want to think about this light squared bishop, after the queen basically comes here to get off this diagonal, you're going to basically see where this pawn's under attack, and potentially e5 could be played, which unleashes this light squared bishop. So he would have every single piece in there, where black's kind of clustered on the queen side, and there's no real way for him to unwind very soon. So he's kind of it's kind of scary for white, because if you notice, he castled queen side where there's only really 2 pieces there. So if black could figure out a way to somehow hurry up and do an attack, he has enough to basically destroy white. So that's probably what white's thinking. I need to get my black's thinking, I need to get my pieces rolling. White has the majority of their pieces on the queen side before they can unwind. I have to do something to, get a hold of the position and maybe checkmate, or maybe my opponent will just completely resign after I boa constrict them. So now we have bishop is attacking the rook. It goes to h6. And then the rook goes to king to e1. Now this is getting a little scary here. The idea is either bishop or knight takes, and you have this sweet idea of these pawns just rolling up the board. It's so beautiful. I can't. This is just making me have tears of joy when you see this type of punishment. Basically, black could dish onto white if he does it correctly. Pawn do. Oh no, this isn't it. That wasn't the right ones. I need to delete that. Now white's trying to white's, I gotta give him a lot of hope that he thinks that he can do something. He's got one piece. Maybe he's trying to get the queen involved or the rook. I don't know. See, you have to remember something too. Black only has 3 pieces on the king side, so you have to look at your own side and think, yes, I can do an attack, but I have to defend too. So we'll see if black can actually hold this. He might actually lose too. So you always got to be on the lookout for that. So he takes, and of course we know what's going to happen. Oh, the rook takes. Interesting. So rook takes pawn. Knight takes rook. Queen takes knight. Wow, you got it. You have to give it to white. He's not letting down at all. And he found a way, surprisingly, to unwind his position. He did have to sacrifice. That's how strong Black's position was. He had to sacrifice an exchange. So, and you'll get, as a chess player, when you get stronger and more confident in your play, you'll understand that sometimes to get a better position, you'll have to exchange, go down and exchange. But like white here, white's got black pried open to the whole world. And so in theory, if he could get this type of a move in here, white's gonna be winning. So I'm thinking that the only move that black could play would be, I haven't even looked at the board, in the book. I'm trying to see what black can play. Let me just sit here and we'll just, if you have an idea, put it in. So if you have any ideas on that, try it. So all I see to keep kind of black in the game would be e5. Let's see what they play. I'm thinking e5 might be the only move that kind of keeps everything together. Interesting. So they're doing bishop. Interesting. Interesting. Bishop b1. Oh, maybe because he's thinking about coming here. That is, hey, you know what, black's saying, you know what, if I can win this, hold this position, I actually have an ability to turn the tide of the battle. And so, because he'll be up an exchange. So let's see here. King to our bishop e2. Oops, let me see. Actually, I gotta redo that. Delete. bishop there. Bishop to knight, bishop b5. Bishop. This is now the bishop that comes up. Knight. White has now untangled this position. White's king is more protected with these wonderful pawns. Black's king is exposed to the whole world, and I just don't see Black surviving. Black had an opportunity. He castled on in my opinion, the wrong side. He should have castled probably queen side. It just went for a quiet game where he had the center and then he could slowly maneuver on the queen side. On the king side, but he didn't do that. Now he's going to be really sad with a loss that's probably coming. Rook. Let's see here. Bishop to d3. Now we have this idea with the bishop coming back. You might even have this bishop idea, and then have this type of a setup, and that's just going to be a mess. And maybe here you just have queen takes actually would be mate, wouldn't it? It's going to be interesting to see what happens for sure. So there, rook b2. Rook c7, I mean. Everything's honing there, but I don't see. Oh, I think I see why they couldn't play this move up here, because even if taking here, he takes there, takes there, and then takes, and I think Black would be winning here. Yeah. So White's going to allow this, then bishop takes. Actually, I apologize here. Not the rook. The rook moves, and if bishop takes now, rook takes is checkmate. So that's the idea, that with the rook to h1, it's kind of a subtle knockout move. I think Black's gonna resign here. Yep, he actually does. But let's see how he actually gets pummeled into submission. So bishop. Let me see. Where are we at? 19. Wait a second. Did I miss something? Let me see. So bishop there, rook b2, rook 1, bishop takes. Okay, bishop takes bishop. Knight takes. Where did I make a boo boo here? Let me see, knight. So knight there, rook b1, bishop queen there, b2, rook b1, bishop takes, bishop. Let's flip the board. Maybe that'll help. Okay, so rook takes pawn. I'm just checking here. Queen takes. Bishop b1. So we got that right. Bishop. That's the sitch. I think. Let me see. Let's go back to 16. I think it might be at 16 that I might have made a mistake here. Bishop, king 5. No, we did good there so far, so good. Bishop to bishop to king. Oh, that's the problem. I think it's bishop. Yeah, this is it. This is what happened. Yeah, and then knight develops. Because if the idea is if queen takes here, I think. Hmm. Wonder why. Wonder why. Let me just take a quick look back, really quick, to see if I just made any slight inaccuracy moves. I know we didn't make it at the beginning. There. The queen there. Pawn, pawn, pawn. There. Knight, king 3, good. Bishop there, bishop there. Pawn there, 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 there. Pawn takes, knight takes, queen back. Pawn beat there. So far, so good. Pawn takes, knight, rook there. Castles, castles. Bishop there. Rook. King 1. That's. Wait. Yes, that's right. So we're still good. H5. Pawn takes. We're still good on that one. Rook takes pawn. Kaboom. So that gets an exclam. Knight takes. Queen takes knight. Bishop b1. Bishop attacks the rook. Knight b5 there. Rook b1. Queen, bishop back here. Rook b2. Now this makes more sense. Rook h1. Bishop takes bishop. Let's see. Bishop takes. Let me see here. 19. Well, we'll have to go over this. And we'll go over this next time. For some reason, I think I misplaced a move. Don't worry, but you have the basic idea of what we're talking about here is that white's basically going to explode open the king side, and he has actually a better attacking position. And so we'll do our one last war game, and then we'll do one fun game, and then we'll call it. And then I'll get this fixed for us so that next time we'll go over the entire game and without any stitches. Boom. Okay. Let's do it to it. Now we just conquered another person. Cow cow. We're gonna be going after a cow cow. I want to go after cow cow next. Okie dokie. Let's see. Does Don Zhao have enough land to actually do what he needs to do here? Let's see. He's going to attack a city. Money. Stop him. We found a lot of money there. Lots and lots of money. Nice. There we go. Oh, nice. We even have an extra. The Emperor sends an envoy to us. Let's take a look to see what we get. I've been appointed as Lieutenant Governor. There we go. Let's draft some more soldiers. Do a repair. We're gonna try to take Cow Cow out right now. Get all of his soldiers. How many guys does he have? 16. Oh, yes. Let's see what we got here. We're going in for a huge attack. Let's see if we can't draw him in. Oh wow, 50,000. Let's see what we got here. Let's see. Let's see if we can't disrupt them. Perfect. Let's see if we can't disrupt Cow Cow. Let's recruit our. Let's do it. Let's see what we got here. We got him. We got him. We almost got these guys. Let's do it. This one, he's gonna be Oz. Got him. Bye bye. We have to send over some reinforcements. Alright, let's do it. I almost got KO defeated, and then they're our army. Annihilated Kauka's army, and then it falls. All the Kauka's men have been annihilated. That's huge. I think we're good. Let's see how we're going to do here. We'll save right here. This is perfect right here. And then we'll pick up later. Wanted to thank you. Oh, this is great. We did it. That was a really hard fought battle, and you did great. We'll do one battle here on the chess, and then we'll end it. There we go. Let's do the advanced variation. Trying to see what we got here going. We can come in here. Trying to see if there's anything that we can do to see about that there. Grab that pawn. Just trying to reroute everything in. Maybe I could have checked. Then bishop takes. But then I think he could have played rook b1, and I don't think that's good for me. Let's see if I can't play here. Maybe. So I played eighth. Okay. Let's see here. Trying to hold everything together. Try playing here. It takes, and then maybe bishop takes. There's a lot of play still in this position. It's still hard to reach his king. I'm trying to find every single little thing that I could do. That's castles. I think castles queen side. It's too dangerous. The castle king side. Let's see here. Take the knight. I mean the rook. This idea here is really strong. Yeah. Good game. Now we'll call it on that. I want to thank you all for logging on, participating. Remember to take what you know and apply and be willing to do. And like what we always say, remember to hang up your coats, hang up your hat, sit down and study when most won't. And that's what Team Chess Cruncher does, and that makes all the difference. And as Wesley So says through the Lord Jesus, and I say God bless, and I'll see you next time on Chess Cruncher TV. Be blessed, my friends. Bye-bye.